Hi everyone, in this video we're going to be taking a look at how to spot the techniques within an email. So this is the second video that we've done looking at this kind of thing. It's really important to keep coming back and revising it. So it's all about identifying the key language techniques needed for functional skills and also for GCSE English as well. So by the end of the video you'll be able to read an example email, identify some key language techniques in the writing, and finally evaluate your understanding of the key language techniques. Think about the teacher's top tip as well. There are at least 8 language techniques in the text. See if you can spot them all. If there's any that we haven't mentioned in this video and you feel like you've identified a few more, then please do let us know in the comments and we'll have a little bit of a discussion back and forth, and it will really help us to just engage with the text a bit more. Look at the statements below. Identify which ones are true and which are false about emails. So first we have then, all emails are informal. You can put keywords or phrases in bold. You need to write in paragraphs. You can use colloquial language in emails. Emails are always short. Emails need to include your postcode. And our final one, you can include the subject or the email address in your writing. Now if you want to pause the video here and go through it at your own time, please feel free to do so. We're now going to jump ahead and go through the answers in the next part of the video. Class feedback. Check your understanding against the answers below. So on the left hand side then we have our true statements. So it says then, you need to write in paragraphs. Now that is of course true, and it is true for every form of writing in the writing assessment. Next, you can put keywords or phrases in bold. So this is a really good thing to do because it helps you to emphasize certain words or phrases to get your point across or to emphasize the tone that you want in your writing. You can use colloquial language in emails, and you can include the subject and the email address in there as well. It's important to think when you go into your writing assessment what is actually available there on the piece of paper. Sometimes they'll already have it set out for you so that you can put that information in there already. So for our false things then, on the right hand side, all emails are informal. Okay, so this is not true. It really depends who your audience is. It might be that you're sending an email to a potential employer, or it might be that you're sending it to a friend or a family member, in which case, whether it's formal or informal will depend on the actual audience you're writing to. Emails are always short. The reason why I put this as false, day to day we might send very short, snappy emails. However, it is a writing assessment. There is a word count, so it's not going to be too short. Next, emails need to include your postcode. No, because that's the kind of thing that you would include in a letter. So before we move on, it's important to know the key term, colloquial language. This is informal language that's also referred to as slang. Look at the extract. Can you identify all of the language techniques? Hi mate, I just wanted to check in and let you know that I'm here for you after our last conversation. I know that it can be hard to eat right and exercise, but trust me, you'll be so happy when you get into a routine. Did you know that 90% of people from the age of 25 and upwards struggle with eating properly? Believe me, we've all been there. When you have so much to juggle from work, family commitments, and carving out a bit of time for yourself, it's understandable that things can get a bit overwhelming. One thing you should avoid is cutting out all the food you like straight away. Doing this is about as crazy as diving into the ocean when you're thirsty. What you could do instead is set manageable goals. Food can be tasty and tempting, but it's all about planning out your meals. So if you want to pause the video here and go through it at your own time, please feel free to do so. There is quite a few techniques in this passage, so don't worry if it does take you a little bit longer to go through. We are going to jump ahead now in the next part of the video and go through the answers together. Class feedback. Check your answers against the ones below. So on the left hand side then we have the same email that we've just read through, and on the right hand side we're going to start looking at the language techniques. So first of all then, the first one we have is where it says hi mate. Hopefully you've heard of this before. It's called colloquial language. It's also known as informal language, and it is quite the typical kind of thing that you would receive in an email because it is something that you normally exchange between friends and relatives assuming it's an informal email. Next we have 90%, so that would be a statistic. Again, we're talking about one of our DeForest techniques that we've covered in some of our other videos. Then we have, do you know that 90% of people from the ages of 25 and upwards struggle with eating properly? So it's important to realise that the whole sentence is actually the rhetorical question, not just the punctuation that we have at the end. So number 3 was rhetorical question. Next we have, we've all been there. So this is actually an opinion, another one of our DeForest techniques. And the reason why this is an opinion, because not everybody has actually struggled with eating properly. Right? A lot of us probably have, but it's just this person's opinion. If you think about it as well, in this kind of email, it's quite a good opinion to put out there. It shows that this is a relatable thing and that we've all kind of been through this similar kind of struggle as well. Next we've got juggle from work, family commitments, and carving out a bit of time for yourself. So number 5 would be a triplet or a group of 3, another DeForest technique. We've got the word overwhelming, so this would be emotive language. Again, another DeForest technique there. This is emotive language because it's invoking an emotional response. We're relating to that person and we can say that we understand that it's really easier said than done to completely change your lifestyle when you've got so many different things going on at once. Next we have, doing that is about as crazy as diving into the ocean when you're thirsty. So that would be a simile. So if we're using like or as to make a comparison, that would be a simile. And then the final one, we have tasty and tempting, which of course is alliteration. Now, as I said before, if there's any here that we haven't went over and you think you've spotted a few extra that you haven't mentioned, please do let us know in the comments. It's really good to have a little bit of a back and forth and a discussion. It really does help with our progress. Language techniques. Look at the definitions below and work out what techniques they're describing. So the first one says then, a question that doesn't require a verbal response. Then we have 3 words or phrases towards a common goal. Using numerical data to present facts. Repeating the same letter 2 or more times. Using like or as to make a comparison. Informal language, which includes slang. A view or idea that isn't a fact. And a final one, words that get an emotional reaction from the reader. So if you want to pause the video here and go through at your own time, please feel free to do so. We're now going to jump ahead and go through the answers in the next part of the video. Class feedback. Check your understanding against the answers below. So we've got our language techniques on the left hand side, and you can see there the definitions are on the right. So we've got colloquial language, that's informal language, and it also includes slang. Statistics, which is using numerical data to present facts. Rhetorical questions, a question that doesn't require a verbal response. Opinion, a view or idea that isn't a fact. Triplet or a group of 3, 3 words or phrases towards a common goal. Next we have emotive language, so words that get an emotional reaction from the reader. Number 7 is a simile, so using like or as to make a comparison. And a final one is alliteration, repeating the same letter 2 or more times. Writing task. Look at the assessment question from the text that we've just read. So if you do want to have a go at the actual writing question, based on the text we've read, this is it. So it says, eating healthy food and staying healthy is extremely important. You have been asked to write an email to a friend or a family member to advise them on how they can maintain a healthy lifestyle. In your response, you should use the appropriate organisational or presentational features of an email, write in a clear and concise manner, have accurate spelling, punctuation and grammar, and be aware that the word count is 250 to 300 words. Now, something that I always remind students of when they look at a writing task like this is that in the actual exam there will be 2 writing tasks as well, so it's important that you don't spend too much time on one task, because that could mean that you don't have enough time to get onto the other one. So if you do want to have a go at this, a good thing to do is to join the membership and submit your work to be marked. If you're writing all of this work, if you're doing all that effort, you must make sure that someone is there to give you feedback and give you advice on how to go forward, or just some praise on what you're doing well. In terms of our next lesson, we're going to be going over the following things. So we're going to recall the skills needed for the writing assessment, understand how to approach a report, and we're going to apply our understanding to attempt an exam style question. If you need additional support, again, you can always join our membership. Alternatively, we have new videos that will be added every single week. You can always leave us a comment below or visit our partner channel Bookworm Teaching for more lessons and guidance on all things English. Both of us are constantly producing resources, lessons, and are always there for our help or guidance along the way. So if you do need anything, please feel free to get in touch. All the best with all your work and revision in the future, guys, and thank you for getting to this part of the video. All the best in the future. Bye bye.